been grinding with the quarterbacks here, going through the film, so it's been, sorry I'm a little bit late and everything. You guys doing well today?
Doing great, you're doing great. So obviously you've been looking at the film and talking with the guys this morning after reflecting on, I guess, your debut. First of all, UCF offensive coordinator. How would you evaluate your offensive performance last night?
Well, I'll say that, and I was real with the offense, again, our execution was not what our standard is. It just wasn't. There was too many, one guy here, one guy there, one guy here, of simple things that we know what to do, and we weren't doing it. And that, our standards has to be on, because our opponents are going to continue to go up, and who we're going to be playing. We're going to Boise this week coming up, and they're going to be on it, and we have to. So we have to make our improvements from game 1 to game 2, which you make your most improvements from game 1 to game 2. But we had too many situations where, our steps weren't correct, our alignments weren't correct. There were situations where the O-line ID'd it incorrectly, and there were some situations, again, you look at our quarterback, he didn't take care of the ball in crucial situations, and we can't do that. Or you're putting yourself in a position to make the game a lot closer than it is, or to lose, and you can't do that. So I really grinded with the offense and told them what I thought, and it's the bottom line is we got to be better. I don't care about anything else but who we are and our standards, our discipline, our attitude. Now our attitude is great, and our effort is pretty darn good. We're running to the ball. They want to do good, so that's not going to change. But and our toughness can be better. But I liked our attitude. I liked our effort, and our discipline. We had penalties that really cost us big plays, and we can't have those penalties.
Darin, you look at John Rice Palmy. I know in the fall camp there's a lot of talk about not having him run as much. If you possibly could, you can save his body. Was some of the runs that he had, were they all designated runs, or was a lot of that him maybe feeling pressure in the pocket, kind of maybe instinct taking over and taking out and running?
Again, there's two things with John Rice. One is he got hit too much running the ball. He got hit too much. So again, there's a difference between that and running. John Rice is electric running the football, and he's going to run the football. But we're not, again, a lot of those are pass options that he runs, or they are drop back passes and he runs, or they're situations where we're taking advantage of the defense and he runs. The situation, he ran out of bounds a couple times, he took care of his body a couple times, and there was a couple times where he didn't. And I've really been talking to him about taking care of his body when he's running. He had a long run that was his electric run that he goes 40 yards, but then he goes and gets hit at the end. He needs to slide. But John Rice is electric running the football. He's gotten better throwing the football. There were some situations in the game, again, where he can be better at throwing the football. He missed a couple reads that he should have hit. And then the interceptions at the end, he's got to learn to check it down again. And he's doing much better than he did last year as far as all that is going. But he's a dual threat quarterback that can run the football, and defenses, it's a nightmare for him.
Coach, you talked a lot about running backs running through tackles. You had 127 yards off of contact yesterday. What did you like about that?
Yeah, there was a lot of situations where we challenged the running backs to break tackles one-on-one. And we had too many situations where the running backs had 2-on-1, and situations where we had one guy here that didn't kick out correctly, or we didn't come up to the Mike backer, or our receiver let the safety get off, just where our running backs didn't have those one-on-ones. But when they did, a lot of times they did make a miss, which is exactly what we want. But we need more of those opportunities for our running backs where they're one-on-one with somebody, but not 2 or 3-on-1. So we got to continue to detail the offense. But I was pleased with the running backs, with their ball security. They got to continue to do that. That's what we've been harping on, is not putting the ball on the ground, which they did a good job all night of doing that. And then breaking tackles. We're going to challenge every week.
After the game, JRP talked about being competitive and wanting to make a play. How do you find that balance if he's trying to make a play, like on the interceptions, or even extending himself, as you mentioned, getting hit? How do you find that balance if he's that kind of competitive guy that is always trying to make a play?
Well, it's just like, with the scramble interception, he's scrambling, he's trying to make a throw in the back of the end zone. The bottom line is put it where it's us or nobody. You don't throw it where the defense can touch it. We're not serving it up. It's not a serve up and go, oh, I hope we catch it, and if they catch it, oh well. No, that's not how it works. You put it in the back of the end zone where we can go make a great play, okay? Or take care of the football. We got another down, and we reserve the right to kick. We do, but we can't turn the ball over. We can't serve it up where the defense touches the ball. We just can't.
Gus said his message after John Rice's hurdle last night was that he almost went out and tackled himself. What was your message when you got back to the sideline?
Well, he does special things, and Coach calls them a video game sometimes, where he's running around and stuff. And there's special things that he does, but he's got to take care of his body. And you put yourself in those situations, it can cause injuries, it can cause fumbles, which he was the leading fumbler last year on this team. And guess who had the 3 turnovers last night? So again, we're going to continue to harp to him. You've got to take care of this team and take care of your body, and that's how that has to be important, and it's a situation that can cost us if you don't. So you can't be selfish wanting to go make a play and go hurdle someone and do those things, or go take a direct shot to your shoulder when you gain 25 yards. That extra 3 yards isn't going to matter at that point. Your shoulder sure is important though. So again, let's learn to slide, don't take those hits. And again, I love his competitiveness. I don't want that to ever change. He is competitive, he is a leader, and I don't want that ever to change.
Xavier was used heavily in the receiving game, particularly in that first drive, and then again proving himself as an explosive rusher later on in the game. What does his role look like in this offense this season? It's
just going to continue to increase, and there's going to be all kinds of situations where all our receivers are going to get involved, and we got to get Javon Baker involved more and get him the ball. But the bottom line is X did an exceptional job. He's worked so hard, and if you saw him all summer and all spring, all summer, and all fall camp, how hard he's worked, and then you could see it in the games. You can see it working in the games, and so again, it's that those. The thing about it is we have a lot of playmakers that are out there, and we got to continue to have the plays ready to put those balls in their hands. But yeah, he did a great job in the game.
Randy, Darin, we saw Randy Bittman a lot last night. What did you like from the freshman and his debut, and what stood out to you about him?
Well, the thing too is that, there wasn't anything that stood out that was really bad or anything like that, and he did go, we gave an opportunity on the interception, we're taking a shot with him in the end zone, and John Rice can't throw that ball when he's covered and hit his check down. But the bottom line is that Randy did a good job for his debut, and his role is going to continue to increase. The kid has proved it. He proved it in the spring. He proved it in fall camp. So, and he did a very, very good job. There's things that he's got to go work on, and we got to go get better at in our whole unit. But the bottom line is I'm really pleased where Randy is right now, and again, to continue with experience with him and continue to get him in the game so he has that experience and he's ready to play.
How would you evaluate the offensive line? And there were some late changes with, putting Bullitt guard and moving Marcellus to right tackle, and I know the reserves got in the second half. How did those guys do as a unit? There was a lot of first game situations where we went in with a game plan, and the linebacker was over here, and we're gonna double with the center and the front side guard, and then he ended up over a little bit farther, and we needed to really double with the backside guard on the nose guard and not put the backside guard on an island, and they were twisting and they were doing a lot of movement things, and so all those details have to get worked out, and that's what Coach Hand's working on right now. Is all the details with the offensive line. The efforts there, our technique needs to be better, and again, our pad level, all the things that we preach to them constantly, so we can give those running backs more space and not have to go miss people and get them to that one-on-one situation where you can make people miss. But again, there's a lot of good with the offensive line, and we're going to continue to build that unit
And I was really pleased with the second line that got in there at the end of the game, and they had 2 drives with Timmy McLean, and they did go score on both those drives.
What do you like about what Jordan McDonald brings to the running game?
Jordan McDonald's physical. I mean, he's physical. He's a horse back there, and I was really pleased. RJ had a situation where he couldn't go, and we put him in short yardage situations, and he got the first every time he was in there. He runs with power. He's physical. He's good at pass protections. He's smart. And he's going to continue to get the ball more and continue. And he did a good job with the screen pass and went for a big explosive play. So again, really pleased with Jordan right now, but his power is what makes him special.
There were times that last year where one wide receiver would kind of dominate all of the receptions. What'd you like to see out of having more guys get on the stat sheet?
Well, the bottom line is that when you throw it to one guy all the time, the defense figures that out, and they roll coverages, they do things to take one guy away. You got to be able to spread the ball out, and then we've got to be able to get the ball to our special guys. But the more we're able to spread the ball out, they can't focus on one guy, which allows everybody, and then everybody's involved in the offense.
That was the highest volume of carries and touches for Johnny Richardson in about 10 games. Was that by design or by game flow or combination of the two?
Well, Johnny has proven, going through the spring in his maturity level of who he has become all summer, and now in fall camp of playing the running back position. And we know he's special. He's electric with the ball in his hand, but he's playing the running back position where we don't have to just do special plays with him. He can actually play running back, and that's a weapon. That's a weapon for us. And he had some really good runs where we didn't block like we're supposed to, and we had some miscommunication up front. We had some situations where he went, and it used to be Johnny would get 1 yard or minus 1 yard. Instead, Johnny's getting 4, and he's learning how to go, boom, I'm going to go get 3-4 yards and get it to 2nd and 6 versus 2nd and 9 and making a wrong cut. And his reads got really a lot better as far as pressing it, where Johnny's not just looking to go run around the defense and do things like that. And I'm very pleased what he did in that game, and he's got to continue to do that and keep his standard up there.
You've talked a lot about John Rice and areas he needs to improve, the turnovers. What did you like most, though, about his performance? We've heard a lot about him, Gus says night and day from last year. What were some parts that you did like about his game?
Well, I mean, he makes plays, guys, that you can't coach, and he does things that you can't coach that makes it's a nightmare for defenses. What I'm really pleased is that he's playing quarterback better. I was really pleased on 3rd and 8 when we had some pressure and he slides over in the pocket, and the old John Rice would have took off running. Instead, he goes and delivers the ball to Xavier on a big 3rd down throw and throws a strike with a guy right in his face. That's what I wanted to see from him, and that's what he did. And we got to continue to do that. Continue to play quarterback very, very well. And then when it's time to escape, let's go escape and make defenses pay.
You mentioned Timmy McLean. What did you see out of him? There's a couple drives he had. They scored on both those drives. But what did you see from his performance?
Yeah, he's playing quarterback. He wasn't freelancing. He was doing what he was told, what he's coached to do. And again, his fakes, his footwork, everything, he was running the offense. And then when they did cover a route, again, we had a quarterback draw situation, and he took off and he did a good job. We got to continue to work on his ball security because he gets loose with it. But he's gotten so much better at it, and he went off and took off for a good run, and he's explosive running the football. So I was really pleased how he ran the offense. He communicated well, did everything that you want a quarterback to do from the sideline on both those drives. And again, that's what you want. And to see him continue to raise it when we need him to go win football games.
You got to sprinkle in DeMarcus Bowman for his debut yesterday. What would you like to see from him, and how will his role grow throughout the year?
And DeMarcus got out there, and again, we're always going to have a role for him. He's extremely fast, and he's an explosive running back, and he's got to continue to develop at running back so we can trust him at that position. And he's gotten so much better from where he was in the spring and the summer, and learning the offense, and then being able to sustain drives. And again, it was good to see him finish and get in the end zone. His ball security's been very, very bad. And he's worked at it tremendously over fall camp, where he is not putting that ball on the ground, and that the ball, you got the program in your hands. And that's how he's acting. So again, he's a guy that can go the distance, but the bottom line is that he's got to be detailed the position of running back and keep getting better at it. But we're excited about what he brings to the table.
For a first game, how do you think your team did blocking?
I think there were some times where it was very good, but there's some times where it was very bad. And we can definitely, and it's communication. And with the offensive line, it's again receivers finishing blocks. You know, they most of the time we knew who we were going to, but we got to go finish those blocks. We got to go finish them. You saw on RJ's long run, I brought it up to the whole offense. The receivers did a phenomenal job. So it wasn't just a 20-yard run; it was a 60-yard run, because we finished on the perimeter. And you know, you see Javon Baker burst off the ball and go run the corner, then boom, and then he stays on him and fights all the way for 8 seconds. That's what you got to do at receiver. In our tight end position, we got to continue to get better at the tight end position. There was some. I want to be more physical at that position, and we can be. There's no doubt about that.
I know it's early in your prep, and you'll know a lot more after 3:30 tomorrow when Boise plays Washington, but just early thoughts, what do you know about the Boise State defense and what you're going to be facing next week?
Well, Boise State's always a disciplined team, and again, we put this to bed now. I'm gonna go detail them and the whole deal as far as all that goes, but they've always been a disciplined team. That's who Boise State is. And they do everything right, they do everything perfect. As far as their assignments and what their gap fits are and who they are and all those things, and we got to be on it. And they're going to have a great scheme for us, and we've got to be ready to go. Again, discipline, attitude, toughness, and effort, and we got to go finish blocks. We got to go do what we got to do. We got to be physical. And the bottom line is that they're going to be at home, and it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a huge challenge for us. So they came here 2 years ago, and it was a barn burner all the way to the end. And again, we got to be ready for that and sustain.
Darin, I put this question up to Addison. It's kind of unusual, but you look at Boise State's blue field, the turf that they're famous for. Does that present a challenge for players when you have something like that, or do you guys try to? That's not even a focus of the factor.
Yeah, guys. Everywhere you go, in every road game, there's challenges. There's challenges in every road. We got to be road warriors. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. The lighting's different, the field's different. The atmosphere's different. The weather's going to be different. The humidity is going to be different. The air quality, it doesn't matter. We got to be road warriors. That's it. End of story.
Coach, you have a couple extra days to prepare for Boise State, obviously, and you get to watch them play against Washington tomorrow. Is that a benefit to your program, just to be able to scout them live?
Yeah, and that first game is always, because teams put out, spring, fall, the spring, summer, fall camp, you go all the way through that. There's a lot of changes that teams make, and they may have all the same coaches, but they adjust based on their personnel. So this first game will be big at 3:30 tomorrow to go see who they are, and again, they're playing a high quality opponent in Washington, so that'll be a good game to watch, obviously, and then we'll get a lot more information from that. And then we'll look at what they've done in the past, the different formations and different scenarios and different third downs. Are they staying consistent, with what they did? And game plans change too by opponent based on what that opponent's offense is doing. So we got to go look at that also, and then compare and project what they're going to do to us.
How did this first game feel for you?
It was awesome. It was awesome being in the bounce house and being able to call the game. And Coach Malzahn is awesome. I mean, he is a leader, and he's an icon in offensive football. And having him on the sideline communicating with me and communicating is huge. So it's a blessing to be here. And man, when I came out of the tunnel, I was like, man, this is incredible. I'm back home, and all I thought about was just making everybody, I wanted to make sure, and I said that in my press conference when I got the job, I wanted to make Gus Malzahn proud. And I wanted to make the UCF, the alumni, and everybody proud. That's all I want to do, and that's all my goal is, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Thank you, guys.